Hi, my name's Ellie and I work here at UKYC, and today I'm going to talk you through some of what are your rights as young carers and young adult carers. So, obviously being a young carer or a young adult carer at times can be really confusing and tough. You don't know which way to go, you're being pulled in 1,000 different directions, and just having a bit of knowledge of where you can actually get support, other than obviously UKYC. But it's always good to know actually what are my rights, because if you don't know, then you can't ask for it. So, firstly, you can actually get a young carers assessment. This isn't the local government and local councils seeing how good you are at your caring role. This is them simply seeing actually how much support do you as a young carer need to be able to succeed and do what you want to do. So this might be you getting more support. So this could be you having more time to do your homework or something along those lines. And this isn't, an exam at all. This is to make sure you have the same chances as those who are also your age. So, how do you get this carers assessment? Well, first of all, what you need to do is make sure you talk to your local council. But that can be, oh my God, could be quite overwhelming yourself. So, it's best to try and maybe talk to a teacher or even your parents or a social worker or your local young carers organisation, and they can actually refer you to get this carers assessment. And you can also actually contact your local council yourself if that's something you feel comfortable with. So all you need to do is Google which your local council is. There's a .gov website where you can just put in your postcode and it'll actually take you directly to your local council. And all you need to do is, if you are struggling to actually get an assessment off your local council, all you need to say is young carers have the right to a carers assessment due to the Children's and Families Act 2014. And at that point they might give you. During a young carers assessment, you'll actually meet with an individual who will be assessing you, and what you will do is simply discuss your caring role. So how does your caring role affect your schoolwork? How does it affect your social life? Are you worried about the future? Do you have people you can talk to? And sometimes it's really good, if you know you're actually going to get a carers assessment, to maybe keep a diary for about a month, just so you can kind of go, this day was really rubbish because of, or this day I got loads of support and I really enjoyed it because. And it just gives you a bit more evidence, and you'll have a bit more to actually talk about during the assessment, so they can actually give you the support that you need. All right, let's move on to transitional assessments. So this is maybe a bit complicated and a bit confusing, so bear with me. So a transitional assessment is different to a young carers assessment. Before you are 18, Children's Social Services are the ones who are responsible for giving you support. However, when you turn 18, it goes into Adult Social Services. So this transitional assessment is to kind of look at what you want to do in the future and how can adult services support you. But it also can help through that really tricky time of, actually, as soon as I'm 18, my support might change, or it might not be put in place for a few months and stuff like that. So transitional assessment can be really useful. It can also be really useful if you actually would like to go to university or go into a job or even move out. Adult social services will try and help support you to actually do what you would like to do. So how do you get a transitional assessment? The exact same way as you would get a young carers assessment. So it's again going to your local council or local government and saying, look, I would like a transitional assessment. I am currently a young carer. Can you help facilitate this to me? So what will happen during the assessment? Well, it's very similar to the young carers assessment. They will actually have a chat with you about what is your caring role, what currently do you do, what support do you give, but significantly in the transitional assessment, they will also be asking you, what do you want to do in the future? So that might be, going to university, getting a job, everything like that. And this is to actually make sure that you get the support you need to. So what will happen after either of these assessments? Well, both your parents and yourself, unless you say otherwise, will get the report. And it will actually state what support you will actually get. So it might be respite, activities, money. There's a whole range of support that they put in place, and each county does it very, very differently. So maybe talk to some other people who might have had it before you, and also other young carer organisations who are far more local. They will be really good to talk to. So things to remember for both of these, of knowing your rights, is it's okay to ask questions during the assessment, and it's really good. Beforehand, just make sure you take your time. Make sure you think through what you're saying and try not to get nervous. And I know that's really hard, but if you are feeling a little bit, have a look at some of our other videos on the website around mental health and anxiety. They might be really good for you to look at before you actually have a transitional or a young carers assessment. It might be really difficult for you to actually describe your caring role. You might not be able to fully explain it, but the more honest you can be, even if you feel like you're rambling and kind of going on and on and on, the more information you can actually provide to the person who's assessing you, the better it is. So take your time, get it all out, it will be better. You can ask the person who's actually doing the assessment to explain things to you. It's not an exam, so you can actually have a chat with them and say, look, I don't quite understand what you've just asked me, can you actually explain it to me? They will be more than happy to do that. And as I've said before, try and keep a diary of exactly what your caring role's doing. So maybe even from the time you wake up in the morning to by the end of the day. Both of those actually might help you, and also try and actually write down what is the impact. So the impact is, I feel really rubbish today and I don't really want to get out of bed, but I have to because try and actually write down how exactly it feels to you. Well, I hope that's been informative, and if you've got any other questions, you can always send us a message, and good luck.